My For You page or my Instagram feed and algorithm is totally different from literally everybody else. It's iced ube matcha latte, it's Pokemon, it's Smosh, and nobody has the same feed as me, and volleyball.
Okay,
Nobody has
that
the
is
same
true.
one as
The
me.
volleyball. Mobile Groove, at Possible, two things you've been hearing about. AI, it was the buzzword, always is, always will be until we figure it out. The second thing you're hearing about at Possible, creator economy, creators, UGC, all that good stuff. And this time around, really, I think a lot of support for creator. Caden, you are, of course, CreatorIQ and a speaker, so it shows that Possible is really leaning into the creator economy this time around. Not that it didn't last year, but it's really something different. What changed in the industry, do you think?
This industry is always changing.
Yeah.
I think that, one of the biggest things is something that like I spoke on Monday, and part of our track with TikTok is that the rise of Gen Z is coming. Like by the end of this decade, 30% of the consumers are going to be Gen Z. And where do we spend 90% of our time? Where do we spend 90% of our attention when it comes to receiving ads? And that's on social media.
Social media.
And social media.
And video.
And video. The way that we see it at CreatorIQ, and even the way that I see it, being somebody who is a part of that generation, is really I don't engage with ads unless they're on my Instagram, they're on my TikTok, or they're on YouTube. And so being a former influencer myself, but also being here at CreatorIQ, all I do is think, live, breathe the creator economy and influencer marketing.
Well, you're a great one to tell us about trends and things out there, but what really intrigued me with CreatorIQ is how you describe it, an operating system for creators.
We are, like we say, the influencer marketing platform for creator-led growth. We help brands and agencies streamline their entire creator programs, from discovering creators. We have a database of millions of creators that you can choose from, but also you can opt in and add creators that you may not see on the platform. Run your campaigns, whether that's contracting, paying your creators, just making sure that the communications and approvals are spread out and monitored within the team. Running performance, because especially as marketers, we have to make sure that we're proving the bottom line, that we're proving that the performance and brand awareness that we're raising is actually working and resonating. But then one of my favorite things, because CreatorIQ has so many levers that we can pull from, is benchmarking against competitors.
Okay. So when you say competitors, that's other platforms with creators?
So like, let's say that I'm, for example, Nintendo, and I want to track to see how my games are performing against Xbox or whatever. CreatorIQ has a whole system that we can go in and see what other creators are saying about other brands and the value and attention those are getting. So let's say I'm a brand and my competitor's investing heavily on TikTok. CreatorIQ is able to monitor that. So show you that the more attention on this one brand is coming from TikTok. So to make sure that you're not losing your share of voice or share of influence on that channel, you can invest more into that platform. Or maybe the direction is go to a completely different channel and take up the share of voice over there.
I'm going to assume, because everything is creator, that is the fastest growing part of your platform or your offer. Am I correct?
It's one of the key things that we've really just leaned in and honed in on when it comes to measurement and benchmarking and how you're going to operate as an organization campaigns, determining what is happening in the ecosystem and what's happening within your competitors really informs the direction that people take, but also the direction that when things aren't working, where we invest new attention and new time into.
That's it. It's the newness of it, right? It's how many creators do you have?
I more than 18 million at this moment.
And I would assume global, because we were chatting before. It's like I'm flying around and you're going to London a lot. So global in reach, then you have local tastes, and then we're hearing so much about how important it is to connect and be authentic. Just wondering how you and the whole sort of group, because you're biz dev, so you're out there doing what? Looking for new creators, the next big thing, keeping track of the trends. What are you actually doing?
It's really more of working with and finding new brands, new partnerships of people who are seeking to really take their creator marketing programs to the next level.
And you've got such a level of brands, right? Was it
Absolutely.
1,300?
More than 1,300 brands that we work with globally. Some of the things that we do and some of the work that we do. As anyone who knows me knows that I'm such a huge Coach fan because my name is Caden. Coach logo has a C. It's really part of my personal brand. My shoes are Coach, my backpack's Coach, everything that I own is Coach.
It is. You're right.
And so the programs that they have built around creator marketing, the programs that they've built, it's truly awesome to see like the work that other brands are doing, but then be like, oh, guess who's powering that from the back end and helping these brand marketers really execute and grow these great programs? That's CreatorIQ. That's a platform that we built, the infrastructure we built to give marketers, to give brands, to give agencies the tools to take their programs from phase one all the way to something that's monumental and tremendous to be the brand that everybody's talking about all the time.
I saw some of the brands on the list. I mean, you're modest. There are some great brands on there. So it's not creator the way we knew it from before, where it was just like, get them to talk about it. They're invested. They're absolutely invested. And music is something to look at. Are you looking at that?
Culture is everything. And for culture, that's different for everyone. Like, there are the interests that I have, there are the interests that you have. So,
and they're universal, so it's transcending.
And so definitely, do we look at music? 100%. Do we look at other things? 100%. What I like to say a lot of times is my For You page or my Instagram feed and algorithm is totally different from literally everybody else. It's iced ube matcha latte, it's Pokemon, it's Smosh, and nobody has the same feed as me, and volleyball. Nobody has the same one as me.
The volleyball is going to nail it.
And because of the way that we have our algorithms and the way that we have developed our own personal feeds, reach has become so important, because reach isn't reach unless it's in my niche.
Yeah.
And if I'm a creator, if I'm a brand and you want to reach me to get me to buy something, you have to make sure that you're working with a creator that is in the about the stuff that I'm passionate about. And so when you're passionate about, the things that you're passionate about, you want to make sure that you're working with creators that are going to reach your niche. And that gets hard to do when you're scaling programs and you're working with hundreds and thousands of creators. And so one of the things that really CreatorIQ has built and leaned on, and some of the things that we talk about and really work with our partners on, is understanding that the days of having these big macro creators running everything are kind of washing away. Yes, still use them. They're amazing. They're wonderful. They're important. Names. But also you need those micro and nano creators to really build that authenticity, build that audience trust with your brand to get consumers to actually make a purchase. Jeans that I'm wearing, I will tell you, I bought them. By the way. I love them. My cherry blossom jeans. I bought them because one of my favorite creators, who probably has a following of about 20,000, posted on his story that he bought these pants. And I've been getting served ads for these pants, I'm sure, for like 6 months. And that was always my intent. But the second that Tommy posted these pants, I bought them.
Then you got them, because it was like, I don't look up to, but I follow, I admire the spirit of that creator. And that was what the other people were saying on this panel. It was like, they have to sort of like buy into the person. And that makes it very different from creator campaigns before, right? What about the brands themselves? I mean, what does that partnership now look like? Because before it was, well, we're going to give you the brief and you're going to stay on brand. I mean, I've done it too, because I've been asked to do activations, but in a thought leadership way, so as a key opinion leader. But I've always said, well, that's very interesting, but that's not the way I speak, and I don't endorse, I enable or enlighten. It's not about selling. It's never about selling. And that was what brands wanted. And so they were fairly risk averse, and they had their brief. But now I think they're learning to loosen up. I was talking to Maybelline, I was talking to Nespresso, and they're like, we're sort of getting a little bit more, giving it more space. That's the right way to do it. But is that what's happening? What's your message to brands about how they do this right? Because if they do it right, tremendous results.
The brands that are doing influencer marketing the best, the ones that I say like have the gold standard, are some of the ones that you mentioned. I personally loving what Adobe is doing. Adobe is one of those brands that has just leaned so heavily and so great into making the best out of their creator partnerships and making the best out of who they work with, because they understand one of the most key things about a creator is when you work with a creator, you are not buying an ad, you are not buying a carousel on Instagram, you're not buying a photo. You are buying that creator's audience, and you are buying that creator's trust with their audience. When we watch an ad and there's a celebrity and there's a creator and they're talking about something that they're promoting or talking about something they're using, you can tell when when they authentically love something and when they're reading from a script. And so one of the things that we try to lean in on is, number one, when working with these creators and the brands that are doing it right are getting this, is yes, there will always be guardrails around how you work with the creator, because there's your brand image, there's your brand voice. But these creators have built this audience over time. They know their audience the best. And so the brands that let a creator have that creative liberty to write things in their voice, in their audience perspective, but still are within those guidelines, do the best. And also, when we think about these brand partnerships and we're dealing with the fact that these creators are making something, when a brand works with creators and they have long-term relationships with those creators, the content, the partnership performs so well. If I tell my coworkers about Coach, they're going to do it because all I do is talk about Coach.
Got it.
But if I go in one day and I start talking about baseball, everyone will be confused because I don't normally talk about baseball. I don't normally do that. And so when what we see sometimes is a lot of brands keep using the same creators that other brands are using because, that creator is popular. But then this creator is now talking about 15 brands at a time, and their audiences are confused about, what do you really stand for? So we lean into the fact that having those long-term partnerships, finding creators who are already talking about you and work with them because they already love your brand. They're already doing the work for you for free. Build those partnerships with them so that they can create even more stuff and have that growing, lasting partnership. PepsiCo is a great example. They, had this huge launch, which Show Speed, Madison Beer, Dude Perfect, where they used those macro creators to create so much brand awareness around what was going on. But then they had a whole program of micro and nano creators that were already talking about the brand. We're already fans
just
of
enabling
Pepsi.
them to do it.
And enabling them to run free and help convert consumers and buy into the campaign that these macro creators were pushing and raising brand awareness for. Like, that is the model of what works well, because you're utilizing those already talking about you. You're buying in and letting the creators run free with their own creative direction, so that they can share your project, your campaign in their voice, in a voice that their audience trusts.
I was listening to Maybelline, a 10-year-old company in makeup, and they have a jingle that we all know. And they let the creator, I think it was Miley Cyrus, rewrite it and said, hey, go with it, girl. And let loose of that. That's brave. That's bold, because that's legacy. And it's like, no, we're going to put this in the hands of the people most passionate about it and see what they do. So they're becoming a little bit less averse to risk, we'll say. Getting the idea that you have to sort of enable, you literally have to take what you have and go with it. And I find it interesting that you sort of still have your macro creators as sort of like the overarching, but then it's like to get into the grassroots, to really get into the discussion and get into the culture, you use the nano creators. I've been watching this. I have mixed feelings. Last year before in particular, when AI burst onto the scene, right? It's only been with us since 2023, so here we are. And went to a lot of companies coming to me, pitching me, saying, we can do AI creators, right? We can do AI influencers. It's going to look like a person. They're going to talk like a person. You're going to be able to scale it because people sleep. Oh my God, what are we going to do? We're going to take AI. And I see it, and then you've got AI influencers that have followings, right? I'm also at the intersection of games and commerce, so we've got sort of like AI gaming coaches in a way, like, hey, why don't you do this, or why don't you do that tournament? So they have their place, but what I'm hearing here is that like genuine, authentic influencers have the edge, or am I missing something? Are you seeing that AI is coming more and more into the space and being accepted maybe as well?
There's my personal take on it, and then there's this like grand scheme take of like the industry, my friends, other people that I talk to. But what I think is two things. One is AI is coming. AI will be a part of the ecosystem. we should not run from it. We should not
Yeah.
avoid it. We should embrace it and learn how to utilize it the most ethical way
Right.
to get what we need to. AI
All right.
creators will be a thing, whether we want to believe it or not.
Yeah.
But what really is going to move the needle and change things, and I think is something that is going to be end all be all, is the fact that real people, real creators, real humans at the end of the day have to be on the side of building these creators, on the side of Gen Z and Gen Alpha wanting real life experiences with these creators.
Yeah.
Like the brands that build those long-term partnerships, not only have the things that you post on social, but then also build this community and do like in-person events, brand experience, concerts, music festivals, conventions, where these people, fans of these creators, can meet them in person. That's something that
So
you
there
can't
will still
take
be
away.
that connection,
So,
even if we
yeah.
do have a little bit of
Yeah,
streamlining
everything-
and a little bit of AI.
Yeah, everything
well.
is about relationships, I think, at the end of the day. And even if for a moment we might shy away from that, I think our human nature will always go back to the fact that, like, we have each other, we can sit here in person, we will have that. We longed for that in COVID. You know, we lost that, we longed for that COVID, we got it back, we embraced it, we learned how to utilize it in a way and move in a different world because of that. But I think at the end of the day, we're all still humans. We shall embrace that. And even some of us that stray away, that sometimes we need a break from humans and we want to set ourselves apart from the world. I think at the end of the day, sometimes we always come back to that. Use AI creators, don't use AI creators. That's up to you and your own brand vision. But I think what's really going to move that needle is when you can make the most authentic connection between your consumers, your customers, and the partnerships that you have created with creators, or even your brand as a whole. That is success.
And that's what people come to you for your platform, because they're saying, I have this brand, I want to get this out there. You're going to help me find the creators. You're going to take care of like all that stuff.
Yeah.
All of those processes that go from, ideate to activate, basically.
It all lives in the same place, so that instead of using manual spreadsheets or discovering people online, all this manual vetting that we have to do, CreatorIQ can flag, brand safety risk. Approvals are in the platform, so you can go through and approve creators, approve content.
That's
make
going
sure
to be more important.
It's all in the same spot, so that when you are a global brand and you're no longer activating 10 creators at a time across the globe, you're activating 1,000, you're activating 2,000. You're doing brand experience events, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're activating in Europe and New York and LA.
Well, it becomes a resource. I mean, it would be like, why would you do that one-offs all the time? I mean, that would be an entire department. They can come to you. You're talking global brands. What about small, medium, mid-sized brands? Because mid-sized brands become big brands.
Yes,
right?
Totally. Poppy is a great example.
Yeah, there you go, right? So for those brands, how can medium-sized brands get in on the automation and the impact and the effectiveness of something like CreatorIQ?
I think it's for everyone at the end of the day. Everyone starts somewhere. And I think that, there was another panel that I was listening to yesterday where they were talking about when starting a brand, you have to have a social presence. If you don't have a social presence, it's hard to even, get off on the influencer. So you have to make sure that you have all of the puzzle pieces together.
Okay.
And then CreatorIQ comes in to help you, once you have those puzzle pieces together, put it all together, scale it, run it all in the same place. You'd never put somebody on a bicycle and just say go and not teach them how to do it or not give them those training wheels. So if a brand doesn't have a social media presence, get a social media presence. If you already have a social media presence, great. Start building your community. If you don't, if you already have a community, then it's like, okay, what other levers do we have? Our e-commerce shop set up? How are people giving us D2C? What other partnerships do we have with other retailers? It's making sure that you build all those things so you have all the puzzle pieces together. And when you become that medium-sized brand, because what is happening now is people are going on social media and finding your brand online and seeing what other people are saying about your brand in the comment section, in your tagged posts, in just basic search. I see so many beauty brands, and I want to see okay, is this going to work for me? I will go on TikTok, I will go on Instagram, and I will search the brand. I will see other creators putting it on.
Well, at least that's the good news. It's democratized then. You build your presence, it's democratized. Once you have that presence, then you can start to think and scale and become more effective with CreatorIQ, because of course an operating system, it's, once you have it, you scale it, then from there on you can focus on being creative and thinking.
Yeah, you can do the human part of it.
You are totally human, Caden. I was expecting a little bit less strategic, and I've been very, very pleasantly surprised that this is something that is open to a lot of businesses in a lot of ways.
You would never know where I grew up just from meeting me.
I would say it's Texas.
It is Texas. It is Texas. But I tell everyone, because some people meet me for the first time, they don't know. I'll never take off this necklace. I grew up on a chicken farm in the town of 800 people. Shout out Centerville, Texas, where I like to say I was doomed to fail by my education upbringing. But I read all the time. I watch videos. I learn. I'm constantly growing and evolving as a human being, because I learned that there's so much out there, and there's so much I don't know. There's still so much that I don't know and need to learn. And that's all just we need to do.
I'm from Pittsburgh, and that has a place in my heart as well. I think it's like this small town, big feeling, friendliest city, right?
Yes.
Many times the friendliest city. And
oh my gosh, one of my best friends is from Pittsburgh. Literally one of my absolute best friends is from
and
you are so
friendly.
right. He's so friendly. I literally don't think he's ever said anything mean to me in his entire life.
Well, this has been such a great experience on such many, many levels, human and strategic and otherwise. So I respect you as a businessman, and I love you as a person. You're amazing.
Thank you so much. Yes. Oh, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.